Welcome back to Forever United TV, everybody. Today, after Manchester United's first game with Ruben Amorim as head coach, and the aftermath has begun. The onslaught of certain players, the tactics, the same as what it was with Ten Hag. All of these comments on social media, basically just throw them away and let's get down to what is actually happening at the club, what happened yesterday. And for me, after looking at everything, of course, I was with most United fans yesterday, disappointed, gutted we didn't get the win. I thought we was going to get more from these players, and naturally the overriding feeling was of just a bit of a damp squib, negative sort of vibe around Manchester United. But when you listen to Ruben Amorim back, when you listen to the comments, when you look at what the journalists at the ground were saying, you listen to what some of the players were saying, like we have done all through last night. I've had a chance to dissect everything, and you know what? I think that was a positive result last night. I feel like that was a positive result for Manchester United in so many different ways. I'm going to explain that in this video right now. I'm going to bring up why. I'm going to show you some clips that I think are actually proof that things will change under Manchester United's new head coach, Ruben Amorim. I want to get your thoughts on that in the live chat as well. Something a little bit different, because I do believe that the result is going to be the overwhelming factor in this, and everyone's going to look at this. Everyone's going to be looking in from the outside and laughing again. I've seen all of the memes and everything, taking the mask off, and it's still Ten Hag underneath and all of that garbage. It's completely not. It's completely different. There was a lot of positives from that game yesterday for me. A lot of negatives also, but we've pretty much gone over most of them. We'll touch on them again just to make sure that everyone's understanding of where we're thinking there's going to be issues at the football club. But the positive side is what I want to start with this morning in this video and go into detail onto why I think things are clearly changing already at the football club. Get your comments in the live chat, everyone. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I want your thoughts on this as always. Please give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. We're on the road to 70k before the end of the year. Help us get there, everybody. A quick apology to everybody who was in the show last night. Completely on me, completely my fault. We was doing the prize draw for tonight's ticket prize draw for hospitality tickets for the Everton vs United game next weekend, next Sunday at 1:30. I was supposed to do it on the breakdown show last night, but I got completely carried away and it completely left my mind. We're doing it this morning. So if you are watching today, you are a subscriber in that live chat, you've got a chance of winning 5 tickets to be in with tonight's draw to win hospitality tickets for that game against Everton this weekend at Old Trafford. Food and drink included. More details right at the end of the show. What is going on right now with United, though? That's what everybody's concerned with, and that's what everybody wants to start talking about. So I have a clip that I want to play. You know what we like on the channel. I like to bring these clips in now just to back up what I'm actually saying and talking about, rather than just going over and reading over quotes. I want to bring up what was said, and the key points from what Ruben Amorim said more than anything after the game, and why I am convinced that things are going to change at Manchester United. Just listen to what I've picked up on here.
2 ways. So we try to win games and don't risk nothing in this moment. And I guarantee next year at the same stage we will have the same problem. So you have to try to since the first moment we will have problems. The players will be like confused sometimes, but we have to address since this moment the new idea and try to be better in the next year at the same stage. Then you have like we are in the end of the game, you are rounding the box with 2 strikers, with Josh has to understand that he has to go to the box to have the crosses, but they want this. Sometimes they don't know how to get it. Then you start discovering things. I didn't know. I think Garna can hold the ball between lines. You can understand that by seeing the games, because he's always open. So you try to find these things. Bruno Fernandes, I think he improved his game by playing near the ball, feeling the ball, so he can give us like sometimes the long pass. But you cannot put him there all the time because he wants the long pass all the time. So
you can see straight away Roy Keane's face there. He stood back there. He's like, yeah, I've been here before. I've heard of this all before. These players want it. These players really do want it. He's different, though. It is. I'm going to explain why now. In that clip there, you can see straight off the back, the first part of that is not doing what every other manager at Manchester United, post Alex Ferguson, has done. And he says it in his first interview after his first game, after watching what a lot of these players are really capable of effort-wise. I'll say that, because they can train these players in to get better into the system, so give them time on that. But he's seen what these players have got effort-wise. And that's the first game in the bag. He's come out in an interview straight after that game. You could say it's raw emotion or whatever, but he has clearly stated on national TV that you can just adapt and win games. You can win games just for the sake of winning games by just getting through the game and putting in some form of plan for that particular game, but no system in place. Basically, living off moments and letting your star players score a goal of the month or do something miraculous out of the blue and winning you the 3 points with nothing else there, nothing to take from it at all. No system, no style, no identity, nothing. It's not going to happen. You can do this, and he says even in a year's time, you'll go straight back to the drawing board. You'll be exactly where we are now. There'll be no change, and you'll be just recycling it all over again. Well said, and I think that is one of the biggest points from what was said after the game yesterday, and that's why I feel bang on the money. And obviously after the show yesterday with me and Jay, I've heard quotes, I'd not seen the clips, I'd not seen the video. We went live straight after the game, so I just wanted to break this down and come back a little bit and go, wow, bang, yes. Thank you, Ruben Amorim. Bang on point right there. You cannot. We are going to suffer, he said as well. We're going to suffer in games. We're going to lose games. We're accepting of that. By the way, we're still making top 4. I'm not letting go of that because I think he will get across quicker. And the reason why? Because he's said it straight away. He's come out and said we're not going to just try and get through games. The players want it to work. You can clearly see that only after a couple of training sessions, they are still struggling. They're thinking, they're overthinking and things like that. You've seen all of them quotes as well. The second thing and the most important thing why I think this is completely different now, and in that little clip there that you've seen, he's not so much called them players out. Calling players out is not the right way to put it, I don't think. I don't think he has necessarily, but mentioning names and picking up on things that everybody can see. Garnacho, in between the lines, holding the ball up more, learning his new system, learning his role. Let's not forget, Garnacho has got chalk on his boots. He knows his role. He's usually out wide. He's got loads of space. He's going to have to adapt. If he wants to survive at Manchester United, you have to adapt. He can't just say that they're not playing a system that's going to suit him. He's never going to get into that Argentina side or any other side on the planet, even at a higher level than Manchester United, if he cannot adapt to new systems and do new roles. This is what I think is big. He's called it out straight away and said the players are trying to learn things. And please don't take that out of context. He's not calling these players out. I just couldn't think of anything off the top of my head to say better to describe what he was saying there. But you can see where I'm going with it. He's said that Ghana needs to do this, and yes, straight away, he's going to have to do that. He needs to do that because he's not going to be able to just go back out on the wing and get his happy time again. This is what was created before at Manchester United, where these players would revert back into their old positions and just have that life they've got again, where they know that individually they can just do what they want, they can get through the game, and for them and their profile and everything that it is about being a Manchester United player, for them, is okay. He's talking about team. He talked about team beforehand. He's talking about Garnacho there in a team system. And he has to make it work for him. Otherwise, someone else will walk into that team. It's not about the individual anymore. The individual moments in games, they're gone. Forget about your goal of the month contender crap that we're constantly doing to bail ourselves out with moments every single game. Xerxes needs to be inside the box. He needs to learn the role. That was clear to everybody. I don't know what Xerxes was doing. I was like, come on, there's a moment. It has to click. When he's coming on that pitch yesterday, surely, Joshua, you've got to see this as a moment. Grab it. Oh, God, it was like the most deflating thing I ever seen. I was just like, God, I want him to do so well. And it just completely, I was just like, oh, no. He just looks completely just dead of confidence. There's nothing in him at all. There really wasn't. And him picking up Amorim on Joshua not getting into the box. His size, his frame. Get in there. Get your head on something. Give us an option to cross the ball. Because at the end of that game, he said it. We're passing in circles, in a half circle around the box. We're not going anywhere. If anyone watched me last night, you'd have seen me screaming, someone put the ball into the box, please. For God's sake, we're just passing around going nowhere. And he needs to learn how to get in there and give an option. That's what he's saying there. And Bruno Fernandes, talking about Bruno, always wanting to play the long ball. He's changed his game. He's got better by playing closer to the play and closer to the players around him, playing simple passes. It can't always be the long ball. It can't be that way. Key things that he's picked up on, spoken about on national TV. And then players will see that as well. He'd have told the players what he thought. The players, have seen what he said on national TV as well, and what's going on and what's wrong with certain things right now and what they need to learn. And I feel that is why things are so different. It's a massive positive for me last night that he's come out there and just stated facts after the game about what can be improved with certain players. I like the fact that he's not even brought in Marcus Rashford as an issue into it. We all know it. We don't even want to talk about him anymore. You've seen the clips outside the game. I think TalkSport were outside and nearly every single Manchester United fan was done with him. And they're match going away fans. So don't say that it's a full-on negative online thing about Marcus Rashford. Match going fans see it. Ruben? No, we don't even need to talk about Rashford. Brilliant. Not got an issue with that at all. We're talking about players that are on the pitch that he feels he can work with and do other things that can make the game better and fit into this system, improve their own game and learn. 2 training sessions isn't enough. We all know that. Get back to the drawing board. Interesting comments from Owen Hargreaves last night as well, which I wanted to talk about and bring up, which are... I'm just going to grab them now, actually, if my mouse worked for me. But yeah, Owen Hargreaves last night, he was saying he was sat quite close behind the dugouts, and what he's seen and the frustration he's seen. This is what he said. Amorim was very frustrated. I'm not going to lie. He was right in front of me, and he was really, really frustrated with a lot of things. I think Dalot's positioning was frustrating him a little bit in the first half. I think he didn't really like the balance of the midfield, and when Xerxes came on, I don't think he was very happy with his positioning and Højlund's positioning. So there's a lot of things that need a little bit of work. It's not a little bit of work, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of things that need quite a lot happening to make this work for Ruben Amorim. We know the task in hand, we know what's in front of us right now, but clearly there you can see straight away that there are obvious things that he's picked up on, that everybody else is picking up on, and it's all aligning. And that's the big positive from this. You have to look at the players that are not working right now because he's changed the system and he's not allowing them to go back into their old sort of self, what they used to do at Manchester United to get away with things, and how the old regime allowed them to do it. If he sticks to this, if he sticks to his principles, he sticks to this identity that he wants to create at Manchester United, we will go far. We will definitely go far. It's like Danny Murphy picked up on something on Match of the Day last night as well, which was interesting. How he said you could clearly see the balance and the structure of the team was a lot better. There was instruction that the players were listening to. And Ruben Amorim spoke about that in that clip there then, where he said, look, these players really want it. And you can laugh at me and it may sound strange to people. And that's that look I was giving you from Roy Keane. He's like... He sat back he stood back, like, I've seen this before, I'm not having this. But the difference with what Ruben is saying, look, they want to learn, they just don't know how to. So rather than giving up on the system completely and the identity that he wants to create, he's going to force these players to sink or swim, like we've said before. And unfortunately, there are going to have to be some big decisions going forward. You've seen that quote last night from someone at Sporting. I mean, on Sporting's actual Twitter feed, backing Ruben Amorim up, saying that some of these Manchester United players wouldn't even get into a Sporting side. They're not good enough to be in a Sporting side. Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that, but I think they are good enough, but they're not willing to put in the effort that would get into a Sporting side more than anything. I think that's the key in it. I don't think these players are not good enough, but why are they not trying as much? Why are they not giving more? They will learn if they want to learn. And if they don't want to learn and they want the easy life, then that's where Ineos come in and what we've been talking about all week. And the players go. It's as simple as that. If they don't back Ruben Amorim up and what he wants to create, then we will be back here next year. We will, because he'll have to find a way for these players to work in. No, you're either in this or you're out of this. And that's the only way we go forward. There are going to be some big decisions for certain players coming into this side. The midfield, for one, is a big problem, and Danny Murphy picked up on this. I don't usually always agree with Danny Murphy, but I think he was right in the fact that the way that the wing-backs were running forward, they were just leaving the 3 centre-backs exposed behind them, and Ipswich wingers could get in easier. They were overrunning midfield. We didn't have the energy in Eriksen and Casemiro to play them 2 midfield roles. I think that's where Agate will then step in now and be a more prominent figure inside that midfield. I don't think Eriksen can do it. I think Eriksen will bring something else. I don't think he's a starter in this system. If you're going to play this way and leave that back three exposed because you haven't got the energy to get up and down. He talked about the physicality as well, Ruben Amorim. We know that that's been missing. We know that we've got physicality in Casemiro, but we haven't got the energy and we haven't got the fitness levels right now for him to do what he wants. Agate coming in again, that's key. And you know what? When there was something was said last week after the training sessions, and Ruben Amorim's targets are possible players that he would want to bring in to United in a transfer window, and we was all scratching our head. Surely he needs a forward or something like that. But no, the midfielder, 2 midfielders. He's addressing things instantly and seeing things instantly that need changing. And this is with another 6 months of football to play before we can adjust that or bring someone else in the transfer market. But what does that do? It gives Ineos time to work with him and get things set up ready. We're not going to win the league this season. We can get back in the Champions League. I still stand by it. There is enough in this squad if they want to learn. But I think what it'll come down to is pushing up to that limit where the players that want to learn but just cannot take it to that next level. I'm sorry, you're either on the bench or you're out of the club. And that's what I mean by them big decisions. You've got a man in now who knows exactly what he wants, exactly what he needs. And if you don't back him on it, then we will be here next year. He's going to make sure these players don't get away with it. There's nowhere to hide for these players now anymore. And that's the beauty of what happened yesterday. There was no masking over any cracks. There was no papering over any big gaping holes or canyons in Manchester United. It was clear for everyone to see. The system was put in place. There were players on there that couldn't adapt and couldn't deal with it. Brilliant. Act on it. That's part one, in place and done. Some of these players will get better. Some of them won't be asked. Some of them think that their job is already done. Some of them players think they are above anyone else coming in and changing the system or anything like that at this football club. Gone. Simple. This is why it's different. This is why I truly believe that there is a massive positive, not from yesterday, but just with having Ineos in situ right now. If they can see on the pitch that their man is doing what he wants and putting in this system and the way that he wants to play and put the identity there on the pitch, and these players can't cope with it, they're the ones then who back it up. And Ruben Amorim himself has talked about this, and why I wanted to make a point about it earlier in the week about Dan Ashworth and Wilcox and them being right behind him and that vision and how they want these teams to play. Wilcox for the youth players for coming through and adapting into that style instantly and being able to help the first team out, and Dan Ashworth more importantly as well for doing what we just said there in getting rid of the players that don't want to be in this team or cannot work in this team or don't want to show the effort to even change and get into this system that Ruben Amorim wants to put in place. See you later. That, I think, is why Manchester United are going to move forward. That is why Manchester United are going to succeed under Ruben Amorim. But it is going to take some serious backing from the people behind him. His coaches and everybody knows. You've got other professional clubs commenting on a United game about their manager and how they wouldn't fit into their side who are at a level below. Not at the moment, obviously, because Sporting are playing better, but with the actual stature of Manchester United, it's embarrassing that we've got other clubs commenting on the way that our players are playing for a manager that's been brought in from a so-called lesser league. It is absolutely ridiculous that this is happening. And Ineos, I feel, will not allow this to float like it was before. That's why Manchester United are going to be massively successful under Ruben Amorim. And he is the right man to do this. No one else has done what he has done instantly. You could see the dejection. I think Danny Murphy said it yesterday as well when he said he will definitely feel disappointed in his players, especially in that second half. You could see it physically on his face. He said it himself. I realise that this is a tough league. Things you learn straight away. A very difficult league. Very good teams. You don't get away with anything in the Premier League. Manchester United have allowed their players to get away with murder. And that's why we haven't been successful. He's called them out in the first game. I know that was a lot to take in. Thank you so much for all of the likes already. We're well over 120. I just wanted to get that across and get everything in and then bring in your thoughts on this and see where you feel this team is at. And if you agree with what I said there about them points that Ruben Amorim was making in his post-match and how positive they really were. Because I think there are players in this team that really work well in that system. There are standouts, real standout performers in this team right now. And I think that it's being masked. I think it's being overshadowed by the players that don't want to put the effort in and don't want to work as hard as everybody else. It was clear to see for everybody. And I just wanted to make sure that the good side of things was actually brought up and everybody knew that this wasn't just a same old Manchester United. There are massive positives to take from that yesterday. And now I'm into the chat and I want to get your thoughts on this. Please do give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed as well. We've got just around 900 in the room with us right now. Share the video as well, everybody. Let's get this chat and this conversation going. Taylor, welcome to the members club. You got gifted a membership from Huggles to kickstart our comment section off. I'm going to call. I've been talking there for about 20 minutes. Apologies if I'm going right back on the chat here and going back on things, but I'm just going to run through as many of these comments as I possibly can now and quickly leave my thoughts on them as well. So keep them flooding in, everybody. Get involved. Get your own conversations going as well. Matt says, lack of physicality, especially in the middle of the park, was scary. Yep, he picked up on that. Almac, I've been asking where the goals are going to come from. We need goals for top four. Hoyland and Xerxes aren't prolific. Matt says, sad thing is that Amorim is probably on bad terms with the players for the slightest criticism of the players. Hopefully, they get sold before the infection starts again. Why this summer is massive and this next 6 months, like we keep on saying, is huge right now. I'd quite like to swap Ahmad and Garnacho around. I want Ahmad on the final pass. Let Garner do the ball carrying. I actually like Ahmad where he is. I really do. I think he's disciplined and his defensive work that Amorim also picked up on. Do you know what? Just on that quickly, he's going in on players that can work a bit better in certain positions, but also making sure that people know that Ahmad and the work he put in 3 days. 3 days, you've got a professional footballer there who's been left out in the cold by Manchester United under previous 3-4 managers, been left out completely in the cold. New managers come in, everybody looks like they're struggling with their system, yet you've got him coming out and saying that Ahmad, in 3 days, has worked on his defensive work and got to a level where he was comfortable at wing-back yesterday. If Ahmad can do it, everyone else on this team can do it. And thank God for players like Ahmad in this team. What an absolute standout professional. Honestly, I cannot praise this lad enough at the moment for what he's gone through and how much crap he's had to deal with at United and being mistreated, in my opinion, to actually be here right now. Honestly, I'm so happy that Amorim is in and we're going to see Ahmad and players like that, because nobody can tell me that Ahmad wasn't good yesterday. He was very good yesterday. Mazraoui, Ahmad, Anana. I'm happy with De Ligt as well. There are certain players that are working fine, and we need to remember that and cling on to that positive as well. You've got a quarter of that team there yesterday, I think, that are comfortable with the position. The rest of them need to sort their heads out and get sorted out quickly. Ahmad can do it. Ahmad's learnt very, very quickly. You've got a player there that's willing to work. That's the difference. Obi Martin and Biancheri might be better than Xerxes. Wouldn't hurt to give them a try. 16 and 17. I understand if you're good enough, you're old enough, but it is a big jump in a system that is still being learnt. Let's not forget that. I want to give these players the best opportunity to thrive in the academy under this new system with Wilcox and Amorim's ball. And Amorim ball being played out throughout the whole structure of Manchester United. Give them a bit more time, I say. I do hear the shout, though, Al. I do hear that shout. Amorim said lack of running was a lot down to players thinking too much about position rather than doing it naturally. Again, it's a good point. They were overthinking. They were trying to think about what was coming next and not thinking about the thing that they were dealing with at the time. And that's natural when a new system. It's like he said, Dalot is used to cutting inside and helping the midfield. He now has to think about staying wide and doing his role. I don't think, like Owen Hargreaves was saying there, he was completely happy with Dalot. I don't think Dalot had a good game again. But it's up to him to learn right now. It really is, because there are other players in this team that can come in. I mean, let's not forget, what have you got there? That who could change that game or add something different to that starting lineup? I would say Agate definitely. Yoro, Martinez at the back, you could add in, but I've not really got a problem with the back line. You could say Mason Mount, Kobe Mainu. You've got players there. Definitely. Frank says, if we play Rashford, we won't be top four. He doesn't care. Like I said, I'm sick of talking about the guy, honestly. Everyone can see it now. I didn't even have to say anything yesterday. He just went completely viral on his own because of his own work rate and what he wanted to do. And when you've got away fans going in on him, you know that there's a problem. And it's not just me and other people. It's clear for everyone to see. Xerxes and Highland and Rashford, who will score goals to get us top 4. Rakesh says the learning curve is steep for Amorim on these players. Midfielders were too slow. Please look at the engine room again. Eriksen and Casemiro does not work. He basically said that at the start, though. He explained them two starting, and he adjusted it instantly. He put players in that have been working with him longer. I think Casemiro. I think Eriksen might have had an extra day than Agate did in training, and that's it. That was what his whole basis was on his starting lineup yesterday. So I think we need to take that into consideration as well, and why he did it. And I want to back him up on that as well, because he did change it instantly. Like, the midfield was completely switched. Agate came on. We looked a lot more solid with Agate. Second half, we didn't really concede as many openings, and we weren't as easy to get through in the second half. Definitely not. We just don't create anything, and we don't have any idea going forward. That's the problem. So physicality, big problem. And you know what? On yesterday, I feel like the reason that Ipswich came into the game, and no one's picking up on it, no one's really said too much about it yet, but the reason why Ipswich grew confident into the game was because we had nothing up front. They could risk leaving Rashford up there because he wasn't going to do anything. He doesn't win 50-50s. He doesn't out-muscle anybody. He doesn't win balls in the air. You could say the same for Xerxes and the same for Rasmus Højlund as well. When that is your front line, you naturally give more confidence to the opposition and they can play their game more. They pushed on to United and got better in the game because we had nothing going forward. They're the facts. And if you realise that and cling on to that, and latch on to that as an opposition, then you can build. If you had a Gyökeres, there's not a chance in hell they're marauding forward as much as what they did, or a player of that standard up front. The lack of quality in Manchester United's final third is why teams are finding it more confident to overload the full-back areas or in midfield, because they know if that ball goes back, even a one-on-one situation, the players still feel confident they're going to get the better of our forwards because the quality is there. It's horrible to say it, and I shouldn't say it, and there is chances that these players could do well in one-on-one situations. I get it, but still, you've got to look at that and say that the quality is not there. It's not at the level for what Amorim wants to do right now. And where he gets around that in that front line, I do not know. That's another issue. I'd say, like, defensively and wing-back situation, I'm confident that this season we will find something and the blend will be there. The midfield and the forward line, that's your area of concern for me. Drastic area of concern, which needs the backing that I was talking about there from Ineos for Ruben. He needs to be given license to just say to these players, no, not anymore. Nowhere to hide. You're out. It's as simple as that. It has to be, or it's dead, and there's no point in being there. Lee says the formation definitely looked better. It needs a prolific number 9. No, Højlund was better there than Rashford, but he needs someone to learn from. Again, like, Højlund and Xerxes are backup strikers. Rashford's not a striker. Rashford needs to go. I don't know if Xerxes is going to work. Højlund can stay and work behind a proper number 9 for me. He's willing to work. He's 21. He should not have the responsibility he's got. But you can see the work rate and the physicality factor. Even if you don't think he's that good at it, he's better than what Rashford was doing. He gave them defenders a lot more to think about. They couldn't get the time on the ball that they got. They didn't really have much chance to settle because he is such a nuisance in that area. He's willing to use his body where Rashford won't. He gives us more in terms of the system, I think, in working and giving the rest of the team around the pitch a better chance, because it's not just going to keep coming back and back and back. It's like that drill that Ruben Amorim was doing on the training ground. Johnny's lost the ball. Get back, get back, get back. Rashford's lost the ball. 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 How many times is that going to happen? And you're just deteriorating and your head's going because you cannot play the game you want to play because it's just coming back every single time. The ball goes forward, it comes straight back. How are you supposed to push forward when it's not being held up or you don't have that out ball? Cannot work that way. Everybody can see it. So yes, the fact that he's latched onto it, Ruben, he knows that he needs to make changes. He knows that these players have got the capabilities in areas and they are trying. Still be brutal enough to make the big calls when it's necessary. And that is going to be key going forward. Black Sheep says, Adam, a lot of these players are not good enough and would not get into Sporting's team. I think they would. I just don't think they're willing to work as hard. I do. If they're willing to work hard and put their bodies on the line, then I think they would get in other teams. But the amount of underperforming, lackluster, lack of effort, application, aggression, all of these put into one, the lack of that, and that being let go by this football club, by previous managers, by the regime, by whoever, the fact that that has gone under the bridge and these players have been getting away with this continuously year after year after year, that is the problem. And Ruben's going to stop it. And that's why it's so different. He has to, and he has pretty much in that first game by calling certain players, again, not calling them out, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. We got a super chat in from Lee Mack. Thank you, Lee. Won't take Amorim long to work out the bluffers. Rashford is on borrowed time. Did nothing after the goal. Don't know why I'm surprised anymore. To be honest, I think like me and Kaz were talking last night, and it was just like when you sit down and you look at it, you go, how could you not win that game? How could you not give more effort? It's mind-boggling. It really is mind-boggling how you could look at players like Marcus last night and just go, you've got a chance. The goal is not going to cut it. If that's what he sees as job done and his job done in that particular game, then it's dead. There's no hope for you at all. How can you even think that? Internally, there will be conversations going on about certain players. There has to be. There has to be. And again, I'm hoping that is another big positive you take from it. Let's see what else we've got in the chat here quickly. No one is no is no, even if it means no is no, even if it means permanently benching a 300k a week player. Please do. Please do. I still have hope for Highland. I think if Amorim gets the system right, Highland will sign. I think he's already signed 5, maybe. I think we were saying in that there. Gehan says, some of these players just don't want to work. Exactly. That's the point I'm making. There is no physicality pressure. There is no athletic abilities. I see the end of Rashford, Bruno, and a few others. About time to cut them from the team. Look, I think Bruno's willing to work. I think Dallow's willing to work. But someone at the football club will have to still make a decision. They may work in this system and up their game and give a little bit more. And that's fantastic. But someone will have to make a cutthroat decision sooner or later whether to say that the quality of player is good enough still. You can still get the work rate. That's fine. And that's what we're looking for. And I think that will be enough for United to succeed in the rest of this season. If they go into a system and they understand that system, they get to learn it a bit more, and they believe in Ruben Amorim, I think we will go and we will fly. And we can still make top 4. But there is still going to be a decision on top of that, which is, have they got the quality to continue this and move forward, or do we go out and get more? The answer to that is, well, up to the players this season. More likely, if they want to prove their point to the manager and say that they are good enough to stay. But ultimately, yes, there is a quality issue at Manchester United, the player, and we all know it, and it needs to be addressed at the end of this season. But for now, we cannot keep on moaning about the same players. It's about Ruben learning how to get the best out of these players right now in his system, rather than getting the best out of them for the way that they want to play. We cannot let these players run another coach the way that they have done before. I mean, Ten Hag might have succeeded if he stayed to that first season, how strict he was and how brutal he was. But when you start making decisions like he made in the end, it clearly looks like you've lost control completely. And the difference is, and I keep on saying it, I know it's like a broken record, but Ineos being in and Ruben being Ineos' man and their vision, rather than what we had before, is where we would hope at least that things are going to drastically change. Bangham says, I am dreaming. No, I'm not. I do believe in what we've got, and I do believe that we can make more of this season yet. Georgie says, a bunch of prima donnas who think they're better than what they are. Take away Casemiro, who has been world class in career. None of the rest have. Who People try to compare Man United early games, all these so-called people looking at the current sporting team forget it took Amorim 4 years when he joined in March 2020. He had the same issue. Well, no, he won the league straight away, mate. So he did have the same issue, but he did win the league. But the difference is he had a full pre-season to work with his players, and that's what he's not got at United. And I think we do need to remember that. We do need to remember that, definitely. Looking forward to the Bodo Glimt game. I want to see the adjustments Amorim will make. Bodo Glimt and Everton coming up right now. I'm obviously really disappointed. I thought we were going to beat Ipswich, but still, let's beat Bodo Glimt. That will be 6 unbeaten in all games. We beat Everton, then we're going into that Arsenal game, and you just don't know. You just don't know. Maybe a bigger game helps these players switch on a little bit more. Well, we have seen it in certain games, even under Ten Hag, that when a big team comes to town or we go into a big game, we do get a little bit more out of these players, weirdly. Hopefully we can latch on to a bit of that as well, and we can see a few more of these players actually being implemented in a more strict way with this system, and they've learnt a little bit more. A couple more weeks on the training ground in between games. He has also said that he's going to have to rotate players. Some players will play, some players will train. That was a really interesting quote that Amorim came out with. I don't know if you all picked up on that or if anyone else did. Please let me know in the chat, but some players won't play in a certain game. They'll have been doing extra training. This is the sort of lengths he's going to have to go to now to actually get what he wants and implement it properly into this squad of players. And I think that's going to be key. That's going to be really key going forward. So, yeah, that was a really interesting one that he came out with yesterday. And it's going to take Amorim time and these players time to get used to the new system. Yep, we can't compete, definitely. Babs is going to be there on Thursday. Good on you, Babs. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of goals to celebrate on Thursday. What young player at United would find Rashford an inspiration and someone to learn from? Not one of them, Colonel. Not one is the answer to that question. And that is the problem. That's the most senior player at Manchester United, and he is the one that's getting away with it. Kevin says, that's the problem, Adam. It shouldn't have to be bigger games. Yep. We need to have the guts to make changes no matter who you are. Otherwise, we will not see any changes, which is important. It's very important that he goes into the Arsenal game and he still sticks to that same identity and that same philosophy. It needs to stay. He will be gutted last night. He will be absolutely devastated, Ruben Amorim. I've seen some of the application effort from them players, and he will go like, wow, really? And I think he had a big reality check yesterday, which is good. But he will wake up today, he will wake up fresh today in the mind thinking, right, what can we do instantly to change this? What can we do? There's a man with a plan right there, and I feel like that's what we will see now. I think in the negative, you take big positives. And he has to see, and the fact that he called it out, for me, is the big positive. He's seen what we're seeing. You don't even have to mention certain players. You can see they're a problem. But he has talked about the positives. And the players I think that he mentioned aren't so much a negative. I think it is that he feels like they can do more. And they are adapting. I'll cling on to the fact that Ahmad, within 3 days, learnt what he wanted him to do. And if he can do it, every other player can do it. That's what we take from it. And I feel like if these players don't learn from this, then their careers as a footballer, I think, are over. There's only one place from here for these United players now. Or these United players who think that they are good players, or these players that think they are decent and should be earning the money that they're earning, there's only one way, and that's down. Completely down. And until that strict disciplinarian and the structure behind him backs him on it, then it will continue. But I don't think it will continue. I think we're now in the midst of big change at Manchester United, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Adam, his squad plan is so refreshing, coming up with a plan rather than an excuse. That's Jeffrey. Well said that, yes. We have the ability to rotate game to game with a fit squad of first team for the first time in ages, says Gricker. So let's see him drop a few for Thursday's game and bring in some of the bench players, Mainu, Mount, Agate, etc. Yep, I think we are going to see big changes in the starting lineup against Bodo Glimt. I'm looking forward to that game just to see, like everyone said in the chat there, like what he implements and what he puts in. I think that's what I'm looking forward to seeing the most. in terms of changes. Rakesh says, looking forward to seeing Yoro in the next game and Mainu, and not too about Bruno. Your thoughts, mate? Look, I don't think Bruno was as bad as what a lot of people were saying yesterday. I think he is like a lot of people trying to find his feet and figure out this system. I think it's going to take time to adapt. There are bigger issues. I like Bruno's energy in this system. I think it works well for us, and I think it's important that we latch on to that. But I haven't got a problem with Mount coming in for Bruno, if that's what you want me to. I want to see Mason Mount given a real chance. And if that means that Bruno drops out of a game, a full game, I've not got a problem with it. I haven't got a problem with Bruno. I haven't got a problem with Bruno being dropped, is my answer to that. I want everyone to get a fair crack at the whip. And you will see, hopefully, players like Ahmad shine through and take a grip of what Amorim wants. And then we can see if he has got the balls to keep the other players out. That's what we want to see. Match of the day saying a 3-5-2 won't last in the Prem, as you end up as a 5 at the back, as Prem teams are too strong. That was an interesting take. I think no one has won the Prem since Chelsea with 3 at the back. Look, it's adaptable, isn't it, as well? On paper, you would say there are issues with it. United Spotlight completely get it. And I feel like there are limitations to it, but it's like Amorim says, it's not about the system. The system doesn't count. It plays a part, but it's the understanding and the instruction from the manager and what the players need to do in situations in the game that counts for more. So formations and systems work to a certain degree, and they'll get you over the line to a certain point in a game, and they will make a difference. But they only make a difference if you're fully on board with the initial plan. And that's what I don't think these players are at, where these players are at yet. And it is understandable because we've only had 2 training sessions with a full squad, and we're a week into Ruben Amorim being in. It's not an easy place to go, Ipswich. A lot of teams have struggled there. I mean, Villa struggled there. Liverpool struggled there to a certain extent. They're just off the back of beating Spurs, who beat City 4-0 the other day. So, really, I don't really look at that as too much. I had us down as winning. I thought we should have won the game. But look, I look at it as still a massive positive for United. I don't think it's as bad as what a lot of people are making out. I think it's good that certain players have been aired and put up there for everybody to see for what they're worth, especially in front of the new manager. And now I want to see what he does past it. A super chat in from Migot Ross. Thank you, mate. Anthony has been talking about a January transfer. How do you rate their chances of selling him or getting a loan to buy sorted out? Think he could use a chance of Serenade? I mean, Anthony, I don't even, like, I'm not bothered if Anthony stays. Like, I try him in a wing-back position. If Ahmad could do it, maybe Anthony could latch onto it. I don't know, I've said this before. There are opportunities for players in this team. There are big opportunities for a lot of players to come through and grasp this new system and take advantage of it. And I feel like that is... What's happened there? What the hell? I don't know what that was then. Something just jumped onto my screen from nowhere. But no, I feel like there is a lot of opportunities for players like Ahmad and Anthony who have been on the peripheral. If he's going to look at everybody, then I feel like there is someone who's going to jump out from the pack and surprise us. And they're the ones I think we need to watch from now until the end of the season. Maybe it is a Mount. Maybe it is... I'm fully convinced Ahmad will be one of them players. Maybe Anthony can do something. I know. I was sort of like looking at that first game, and you look at Xerxes and you were thinking maybe he can do something. From what I've seen, no, I really don't think so. I'm all for it. Behind Amorim 100%. Just will be very interesting to see it develop. Yep. 100%. Mr. Dacia Sandero, hi Adam. As I said in the previous show, there are a few players that can't adapt or sustain the high intensity that Amorim wants. It will take quite a bit of time before we see consistent performances. Yeah, I agree. Consistency is going to be difficult with certain players in this side. I'm hoping with everybody fit. And this is a difference as well, and why I think it is something to actually latch onto and look as a more of a positive. The fact that we have got more fit players, I think, definitely helps us in trying to get more players in that haven't been given game time. And hopefully Amorim sticks to his guns. So you could have players that have been out injured that are now fit, that like Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, I don't know. But let's just take Mason Mount, for instance. All of a sudden, he plays really well in a game. Let's see what Amorim does then. Let's see if he keeps him in the side because he understands. Let's see if Ahmad stays where he is because he understands. That's what we want to see next. I think that's massively important for Manchester United going forward and for Amorim in getting the best out of his squad from now until the end of this season. There is going to be all sorts that go on in the summer, but still, I feel like we are now just at the start of what is going to be the biggest change in this club's history, I think, over the last 30 years. I think last 3 decades. That's how big this is. And I think it is going to be under Amorim's rule that we do see the positive times come back to Manchester United. Please give the video a like. We are 10 away from 300 live likes. That's absolutely mega. Well over 1,200 in the room with us for pretty much the last bits. I am going to do this giveaway now. I'm not going to forget this time. For anybody who isn't up with what is actually happening, it is up on your screen right there, right now. United play Everton next Saturday, and Football Prizes, our partners here on Forever United TV, have a draw going on. You can buy your own tickets. Just go in the link in the description under Football Talks. It is there. I'll get one of the mods to pop it into the live chat for you as well, just to click on that. Buy as many tickets as you can. Don't spend above your means. But I am going to give away 5 tickets to this draw, where you could possibly win an Anana Menu or Mazraoui signed shirt as well as the tickets for the hospitality for the game against Everton. Ruben Amorim's first home game in the Premier League for Manchester United. Next Sunday, 1:30 kickoff. You'll be in the draw tonight for these tickets. You're going to get 5 tickets. I'm going to randomly scroll down the live chat right now and pick out a name. So I'm rolling my finger right over the mouse key. I'm scrolling down and I'm going to stop it there. Frank Davison, my friend, well done, Frank. He's actually a member as well. I'm buzzing with that. Frank Davison, you have won 5 tickets into the draw, which is happening tonight at 7:30, my friend. No, you haven't won yet, but you have an opportunity. Them tickets courtesy of Forever United TV. Frank, legend, mate. Thank you so much. If you want to just DM me on Twitter or on Instagram, or drop me a comment in on this video after the live is finished. If you're not on social media, Frank, well done, mate. Absolute legend. And yeah, just send me a quick DM on any of the platforms, mates. I will send you your tickets over for the draw tonight and give you some instructions as to what actually goes down and how it works. But yeah, Frank, you are the man, my friend. You have won the tickets for this prize draw. So congratulations to you, my friend. And that pretty much wraps up our show, everybody. A legendary show. Well done, everyone. Comments were absolutely bang on point. Do get your comments in after the live is finished as well. Let me know what you feel about everything that we've talked about. Get your points across in as much detail as you want. I will try and get back to as many of them as possible. What I need you to do as well is subscribe to Forever United TV, please. Make sure that you give the video a like. We've passed over 300 live likes, which is mega. Thank you, everybody. And we are out of here. That is us all finished. Check out the content that's up on your screen right now as well from the weekend. And I will see you all a bit later on. Stay tuned. Make sure you've got your notifications on. If there's anything that breaks through today, I've got you covered. But I am back later this evening live as well, and the normal time of 6:30. So make sure that you're there, everybody.